panel and brunch that we started a few years ago because we feel that along with producing the biggest show around, we want to make sure that we bring the rest of the industry that is affiliated with fashion, beauty, style, to connect, to get a chance to connect with each other, to add more knowledge to their own repertoire, and also share the knowledge with other people who are interested in that industry. So we have done few topics in the past pre-pandemic level time. So when you're coming back this year with this kind of panel and brunch series, we wanted to come out with an amazing set of panelists. Any of you who are here, we already know how accomplished and top of the game these panelists are from LA and from Portland. And I hope that this panel and brunch, through all the fun that you guys will be having, this panel discussion part of it will add to your knowledge and in your profession. And also, this is the time for us to get ramped up and prepared for our October 5, 6, 7, 10-year anniversary of FashionXT Week. That is also going to take place in another amazing venue just down the road from here. You have to plug into our Instagram or TikTok or Facebook to hear the announcement real soon. It is unbelievable, majestic, and just amazing venue that you are going to do it. I will let our moderator today, Colton, to take it from here. I hope you enjoy this panel, and obviously we still have food and drinks. After the panel discussion is over, we'll continue the party and garden party. There will be two more party favorites, party excitements will be coming. We'll have the cotton candy and also the rotating photo booth active by the time this party is over. I hope you continue to enjoy and network and get to know each other. And thanks to our sponsor, PNC Live Studios, of course, Alpha Media. We were seeing their radio station numbers over here. Creo Chocolate, thank you for amazing chocolates here that you guys provided. Palm Beach Tan, Hotel Vans, who have been hosting our panelists from LA, and guests also. So without further ado, I will invite Colton, fashion designer. He's also going to show his line at FashionXT Week this October. My long-term compatriot and in FashionXT, making so many things happen. And of course, my amazing FashionXT team. As you are seeing in every stations, they are doing their best and doing amazing work for having you guys entertain. And I can't wait to look to see you at FashionXT Week in October 5, 6, 7. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. You all look amazing. Thank you for dressing up. That's one of the reasons that we do this event, is to give Portlanders and Portland an excuse to dress up and be cute. I hope you guys all come to FashionXT and also dress up for FashionXT. We'll have a cute little red carpet moment. But I would love to introduce to you our 4 fabulous panelists. Marco Monroe, Presley Poe, Riley Forever, Stephen Smith, and then me. I'll be your moderator today. Thank you guys so much. Let's have our panelists come on down. While they get seated, I'll do a cute little speech for you guys. So, why are you guys here today? Well, what is currency? one of the reasons why I was inspired to do this event, and me and Tito got to talking, was I was watching this TikTok and I realized there is lots of different types of currency besides just monetary, and content is rapidly becoming one of them, almost more valuable than actual monetary currency. So what is currency? Currency is a medium of exchange that is widely accepted as a form of payment for goods, services, or debts within a particular economy or society. It serves as a standardized unit of value that facilitates transactions and trade. While the most common form of currency is physical money, such as coins and banknotes, the concept of currency, has evolved to include various other forms, both tangible and intangible. Remember, the concept of currency goes beyond just money. It encompasses various valuable resources that creators can tap into to fuel their growth and success in the digital landscape. So, without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you our fabulous panel. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Content is just one of the many resources which can be converted to currency that we can create, barter, and trade. So I'd like to have each panelist introduce themselves and then just tell like a little quick bit about kind of like what you do, like what is your currency, like what type of content do you create, but just a short little blurb about you before we get into questions.
Shall I start?
Sure, yeah. Steve?
I'm Steven Smith, head of design for Donda / Kanye West. Yay, these days. And my career started out at New Balance almost 39 years ago, and I did what has become all of their classic shoes that they sell today. And then I worked for Audi, and that didn't go so well, and I quit. And then I went to Reebok, where I was head of advanced design, but I did some shoes there that turned the fashion world on its head, like the Instapump Fury that was Bjork's favorite thing to wear forever. And then I left there, and I did a short stint at Fila, which wasn't that great. And then I ended up at Nike for 10 and a half years. And some of the performance shoes I did at Nike, they ended up being picked up by Supreme and Stussy and reissued with that branding on it. So it's kind of funny to see some of these Japanese performance running products that I did turn into streetwear and fashion. So that was kind of cool. Then Nike got rid of all of us over 40, and it was time to find another job. And so then I was I did back to Adidas, and I worked on wearable sport electronics and soft circuitry embedded apparel. And then that was not for me anymore, and I left. And I went to go work at Keen, because they wanted to invest heavily in U.S. manufacturing, and which interested me, but then the owner didn't want to invest a dime in anything, and so it made my job impossible. So I just quit one day, not knowing what I was going to do, and then 2 weeks later, Ye cold called me and asked me to come design with him, and I've been with him for 7 years to this date. Where I did a lot of the Yeezy designs. I work on apparel, footwear, vehicles, housing, packaging, sunglasses, whatever he wants, I design it with him. And so I'm kind of his co-conspirator, if you will, and we were both kind of known as disruptors and agent provocateurs, so it ended up being this perfect marriage of creators. So that kind of sums up my world.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
I officially feel like I'm doing nothing with my life.
You've done nothing. I'm kidding.
I'm like, how do you follow that? So, hi, I'm Presley Poe. I'm a hairdresser, just entrepreneur, jack of all trades. I own a small salon here in Portland, Oregon. I travel and teach for a living. I'm very privileged to work on some of the biggest stages in the industry and get to be a leader in my field. It's the whole currency. Okay, so when we talk about currency, like especially I think just in general, we're all looking for value. So as an educator, I really had to figure out how to create a 15 to 30 second movie that evokes emotion, which is creating of art, and then the ability to make someone feel as though that's accessible to them. So the whole thing about the currency of what I create is to hopefully show someone something that they feel that they can do to bring value to their lives and to draw them into my life and let them know that they are welcome within my space. And that is just this big interconnected web of like all of those things can lead back to money, but all of those things lead to connection and networking and my commitment to bringing value to my community. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Riley.
Hey, my name is Riley. I'm a makeup artist. I do music. I do parties. I do OnlyFans.
Digital creator.
She wears many hats. I like to travel. What was the question?
Who are you? What do you do? And what is your currency?
For me, currency, honestly, is cold hard cash. But I know that's not that's not always the reality. So it's just kind of like I like to work with brands that I agree with their values, and. Yeah, that's why I should be Miss
hot.
America.
Honestly, looking hot is your currency.
Temperature-wise,
burning up.
Thank you. Are you done?
You want to add some stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
What was the question one more time?
What's your currency? Who
My
are you?
currency.
What do you do?
Okay. What do I do?
Yeah.
I do makeup. Like
Digital creating.
I do digital creating. It's mostly like Instagram, TikTok. I used to do YouTube. I also worked at Nike. Hey. Just anything on social media. I try to be like active. I've been around since like Vampire Freaks and MySpace, so like the internet, and that is like my life.
MySpace. It all started at MySpace.
Oh, girl. She started at MySpace and she ended.
You took down MySpace.
I took down MySpace.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all. That's why I should be Miss America.
World peace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, y'all. I'm Marco Monroe. I am a costume designer, stylist, like a maker of sorts, like.
Who are some of the people you've worked for?
I've worked with like Miley Cyrus, Lizzo, Little Nas. Who else? I've worked with several people.
Nicole Byer.
That's a lot.
Nicole Byer. I don't know. Jennifer Coolidge. Megan Thee Stallion. People like that. And I also do costume design for the House of Avalon, which we're a part of, and from Arkansas. Now live in LA. Just out here making shit.
What is your currency?
Oh God, my hands. I think.
Yeah.
Because I
creativity.
Use my hands all the time. So whether it's.
Oh, I misunderstood the question.
Yeah. So I think that's a vital part.
Looking hot is still your currency.
Yeah, looking hot's fine. But yeah, I would say my hands, because I use my hands in every facet, whether it's I'm making something or drafting a pattern or drawing or building a set or whatever it is. So.
Yeah. Also, your imagery,
Yes, drafting an image.
I changed my answer. My currency's my mouth.
Oh, that's
wrong
fine.
panel.
I mean, she talks. She does stuff. She's current. I'm done now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Anyway, thank you so much. And that's our fabulous panel.
I like this way of clapping. This is going to be my new hair show clap. I love it. So good.
Do you do the paper wave as well?
Oh.
Some inside the palm. thumb inside the palm.
Oh.
Like this.
Okay.
There you
Wow, Steve
With
really,
this.
really,
Can I do both at the same time, though? Let's
Oh,
see.
that's
you're really good at that.
double
Slap
header.
with-
Can't go wrong.
Wait, is that what you do in your
I
race
feel like
car
I'm like throwing up
when you're
gang
going like
signs or
100 miles an
something.
hour?
Like,
Yeah.
Two things at once, my brain would start
Steve
Like
drives a race
smoking.
car. So some of the let's see. So anyway, some of the problems that you guys may have come here today with, as far as like your content, your social media, your currency. I just wrote down like five quick things I think that you guys may be coming here for. Would be like content fatigue, which is like consistently producing high quality content that can be mentally and creatively draining, leading to burnout. Algorithm changes. Social media platforms frequently update their algorithms, which can impact the visibility and reach of content, making it challenging for creators to maintain a stable audience. So just keeping up with the algorithm, like how many hashtags and like when to post, just all of that chaos and like being caught up in like what being optimal to your social media so that you're getting the best reach. Number 3, monetization hurdles. It can be difficult for emerging creators to monetize their content as they might not have a large enough following or access to monetization features. So like if you're just starting out or you don't have enough followers, you can't get to that 1,000 follower on TikTok so you can do lives. Just things like that. Like how do you get over those initial hurdles when you're starting out if you are a small creator and you want to become, big. Number 4, content authenticity. Striking a balance between sponsored content and maintaining authenticity can be tricky. Overloading content with promotions may annihilate audiences. So how do you sell to your followers without selling to them? How do you, push your product or push your brand without feeling selly and, being authentic and being relatable when you post your content? And then number 5 is audience engagement. Keeping audience engaged and interacting with content requires continuous effort and creativity. So just creating like cool content, good content, engaging content, like how do you create good content? So anyway, those are kind of like the 5 issues I feel like you guys might be coming to this panel with. And without further ado, I would like to start the panel portion of the show where I will be asking you guys some fabulous questions that I came up with. And I hope I picked these questions with all of you guys in mind. I hope that I'm asking the questions that you guys came here to get answered. But if not, we're going to have a little portion at the second half of this where we'll do question and answer, and you guys can, we'll take questions from the audience. All right, so let's start with Marco.
Oh, God.
Okay. So, Marco, your work with artists like Lizzo and Lil Nas X has caught the world's attention. How do you use social media to showcase your creative process and build anticipation around your clients' red carpet looks and music videos?
Let's just take that whole thing in.
So yeah, how do you use social media?
Well, first of all,
to show off your coolness?
Blunt is like social media is hard.
Exactly.
Like, I struggle with it. Like sometimes I won't post like for a month. Like so it's difficult. But I guess like with clients that I've worked with, red carpets and things like that, like I'm looking for like the viral moment. Like I'm looking for that thing that is going to be like, like the tiny bag with Lizzo. Like those little fun things. Like I love small objects. Secret fact. And I thought it's just as simple as like thinking it would be funny, and that's authentic to me.
Yeah, it's
and then I shared that, and then she was down, and then it became a thing, like whatever. But I think with that sort of stuff, you just have to be authentic to whatever your intuition is, and like following those things out. And that kind of leads to like sharing that online. I'm really bad at social media myself, like to be honest. Like I forget to post stuff and whatever.
Oh my god, I have like really cool stuff from like a year ago.
But it is kind of currency because that's how I got the job with Lizzo. It was like,
exactly.
Someone saw that I was making clothes for my friends for doing parties and things, and then they were like, "Can you make something last minute?" So I did, and then that led to like becoming a stylist. I never thought I was going to be a stylist.
Exactly. That's like a perfect example of why we put together this panel is that right there is how can your content push you ahead. And for him, this exciting content, obviously it's a snowball and it kind of starts small and has to grow big, but like you would have never worked with Lizzo if you wouldn't have had cool, interesting, engaging content that like showed your abilities.
Yeah. And it's like, I didn't think anything of it or that it would lead to that career, but I mean, it was like, just having fun and like not being afraid to share something that maybe no one else like really understands why you're posting it or whatever, but like if you feel good about it, then like just do it, you know.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. All right, next question's for Presley. Your artistic haircuts and colorings have gained a massive following. Could you discuss how you utilize platforms like Instagram to not only display your finished works, but to showcase the step-by-step process and the intricate behind-the-scenes process?
Yeah, so I've been able to use Instagram, social media in general, to document this process. And I think at the end of the day, it's about being completely altruistic. Like, I always tell people, if you want to be successful, do the thing that no one will do. Do the work, right? And I've shown that. Like, the thing is, I feel like how I show up on social media is how I show up in real life. Like, there was a saying that was my assistant, now my manager, had said, and she said, you do one thing like you do all things. And that just really, really resonated with me. And so when it comes to social media, I mean, to be completely honest, you guys, I was like, what the is reels? Like, this is not my vibe. I slay photography, and I've worked really hard to do it. And I was like, moving shots? Like, I do not think so. Like, I just got my, lighting down and all the things. But then I think, like, who is Presley? I have to have the feeling that I'm creating art at all times. And so when it came to starting reels and documenting this process, initially it was like, I've got to teach the people. The people have to know. And then I was like, but that's like really in your face. And I'm not into that. So it was like, I'm enough in your face. Okay. I don't have to like push it on you. Okay. Like, I walk in there like, oh, what is that? It's either a who or a what is that? Right. Like, depending on the day. Daddy, mommy, what's going on? We don't know. So I thought, I took inspiration from people, like, it sounds silly, but the great Bob Ross. When he paints, he speaks gently, and it makes you lean in to listen. And so when I'm creating my art that's very in your face, and we talk about things like color balance, right? Anyone can wear any style. It just has to be balanced for their body. And balance is often a juxtapose of strong and soft. So if I'm coming in like bringing the heat, dude, like I'm like, this is bold in your face, I'm going to present it to you gently. I want to draw you into that moment with me, and then I'm going to be completely altruistic with you in that moment. All right, so we're on social media. You're always going to put, like, people always put the highlights. I put the low points and then show the highlight. Show people who you are and show them your story, show them the story of the situation in that little 15 to 30 second movie. And something that I've found that really helped is actually putting it to music that didn't have words but evokes emotion, and to where people can feel that with you. And I think that worked really well for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, my next question is for Riley.
Hey.
How's it going?
So good.
How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
No.
I think my nerves finally went away. Oh. I feel better now.
Was it the bang?
What was that?
The bang.
Oh my god, yeah, the bang bang.
Help.
A piece of hair always helps, Mama.
I know, right? I got ready so fast.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you, Sarah Adams. Riley.
Hey.
Your journey from being a social media influencer to a recording artist is inspiring. Can you share how you transitioned your content strategy to incorporate your new music career while maintaining the engagement of your existing audience?
Yeah, so I feel like I've had like a pretty core audience of people that like follow and like enjoy my content and just like my kind of personality that I put out there. So I feel like they're there for me, not for necessarily what I'm doing, which is kind of how I'm able to do so many different things. And I think just being really genuine, I always wanted to be a Spice Girl, and I wanted to be like the hot bitch on the motorcycle.
You are.
And I was like, why? Like, yeah. And so I was just like, that's like my dream when I was a child. So I was like, why don't you just like do it?
Exactly.
And so then I started doing music, and it's going great. I'm really happy. I'm doing I also just came out with a little swimwear line.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's designed for trans bodies.
Exactly, that's very important. Yeah, trans bodies swimwear.
Trans body swimwear because it's so hard to find.
I was strapped. I was like,
She's hot pink, duh.
but like, do you ever feel weird when you're in the studio and you're like,
Oh my god, it's the weirdest thing in the world.
but like
It's
25 times.
Yeah, I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer. I just wanted to, so I did it, and I feel like that's how social media gets. Like, that's how you kind of will rise up, is if you just kind of take risks and be really genuine to yourself. And I show like my whole life online. I'm posting constantly. It's really annoying for a lot of people.
A lot of just being perfectly authentic.
Yeah, it's just like what you see is what you get, and I've always been like that, and I think that's why people are engaged with my social media presence. I hope.
Yeah. Of course. Thank you. Steven, you've been designing for you've been designing for these brands for quite some time now. How have you seen the marketing and media ecosystem change over the years as you've seen things shift to social media from print and other forms of existing media and brand promotion?
Oh, it's fascinating. I remember when BBN created this thing called the internet.
What's that?
Previous to that, everything was catalogs and advertising, and you had, as an individual, you had no reach to the world because you were kind of behind the veil of things, and I think it's been interesting because the audience is thirsty for information, and I think the way that we approach it is the information's very elusive. Ye purposely gives people snapshots of things, but never the whole story. So you have to wonder and guess, like, fuck, is he doing new shoes or what? What is he wearing? And people are like, and so I kind of play off of some of that with the mysteriousness and give people snapshots of things and glimpses, but never the information. They get teases and things like that. So it's kind of fun because now you can actually interact directly with the fan base and the people who want to either emulate you or get in this business, and they want to know how. And so for me, I occasionally drop some of the things from my past, drawing, sketches, because everything's so fast now and digital, and in those days it was all analog, drawn by hand. So for these kids who Photoshop everything, to see some photorealistic thing that was done with paper, pencil, and markers just kind of blows, like, how the fuck did you do that? And it's like, well, that's what I did. And because it's a lot easier now with digital tools. So, some of the things that we ran into, and it's actually why I have some of my content that I put on there for the previous designs, is you'd be sitting there, and this does relate to the marketing side of it, and you'd finish this rendering after 4 hours, and I mean, it was stunning, right? And some fuckhead in marketing comes and like, could you make that collar blue? And you're like, so you got to start all over, and you got to do a whole new rendering. Now you can click, drag, change, done, so they don't understand like what it took. And finally you had to like beat down those people and go, no, I'm not changing it to blue. That's the color I want it to be. And so when those colors change, or you do those color options, that's how I ended up with what was the leftovers of the portfolio that I can share with people, because all the original artwork and creation process was lost to the factories or the pattern makers forever. Mm-hmm. So it's my currency is that history.
Yeah, exactly.
Of what I've done, and again, give people teases, but then also the currency that what I view as my currency is I give people glimpses into my life, and it's not my personal life, but it's what I do, the things that influence how I create my designs. I mean, I love cars, I love machines, I like guns, I like motorcycles, fashion. It's all blended up into this, and it's you're getting a little cracked open into the side of my brain and how it works and how these things kind of flow together to get you the next great designs, as well as, you know, ideas from and through with Ye as well. And, you know, he's always like, how do you come up with this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I'm whack.
Yeah.
You know, space
Art curious.
Space aliens plant the vision in my head while I'm sleeping. I don't know.
There's something actually wrong with me. It's fine though.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm an artist.
So anyway, that's
Yeah, are you an artist if you're not insane?
I mean, literally though.
yeah, and you know that's the thing for me. We operate very visually. He and I communicate very visually through images. I can get a picture of something with no words, and I guess I turn that into a sneaker now or a T-shirt.
It's like a shell.
Yeah, you just kind of riff off it. You know, one was a hot water bottle that you put on your back, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll do something based off of that and spin it and turn it and twist it, and you know, it's for me, the social media thing isn't. I'm not in it to be monetized. Maybe I should. I don't know. I can make a few extra bucks, but it's more visual choreography and visual explanation and visual sharing and learning for the people who are interested in what I do and how I got here. You know,
Totally.
how my brain functions.
Totally.
So,
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Steven. Okay, my next
Yes. Oh wait.
my next question is for
This
Marco.
one. This is my. Is it the nail? Okay.
That's the nails.
Oh, okay.
I don't have
You're
any.
out
I
of
broke
luck.
them all off
I'm
with
out of luck.
wrenches.
I have the nail.
I left mine at the hotel.
I know.
Vance.
It's like, look at your little bare fingers.
I know. I
Cute,
feel like a little
though.
cherub.
Oh, goodness. Me too.
Who even are we?
Don't look at my hands.
Let's do this.
Marco, collaborations and partnerships can play a significant role in content creation. Could you share a memorable collaboration that not only elevated your client's image, but also helped you reach a broader audience through shared content and engagement?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things I ever got to do was help design the look that she wore for the Grammys, the Versace look.
Who is it?
For Lizzo.
Lizzo? Okay.
Yeah. So I was working with Lizzo. Grammys were coming up. Like, we were reaching out to designers and stuff like that. I wanted her to be in. Because, like, part of what I'm glad that you share, like, inspo and you're talking about your sketches. Because that's also, like, what I do. Because I'm not just a stylist. Like, sometimes I design the costumes and, like, do all that. So I do share sketches and stuff. And that's led to other jobs. But with Lizzo, I had this like old Hollywood vision that I wanted, and so I was like pulling references, and I built this whole mood board together, and then I got to like actually talk with Versace Atelier team, and they literally
cool.
they literally did exactly what I asked them to do, like
Oh my God.
specifically, and they gave sketches, and so it was another visual sort of exchange, and then I got to like tweak back and like be like, this is what I want with this, you know, like it was a whole conversation with the Versace Atelier, and I'm from Arkansas, so like that was like crazy as fuck. Like that doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah. Like
And didn't realize like that I would even be in a position to have that opportunity, which was so crazy. So I think that's one of my favorite things I did. That like working with the clientele that was like, you know, notoriously famous. Like everyone knows who Versace is, and then getting to like bring to life what my vision was, but just had other hands put it together was really, really crazy. And that they always use, you know, that imagery of her on the carpet and the white dress and like all that stuff, and just to know that was a big part of that was crazy.
Do you feel like that content from that project has created like new business following that?
Yeah, I think so. Because like I shared, excuse me, I shared on there like on social media like my mood board that I gave them. So like I gave all those little cookie crumbs away, like, you know, and so that's led to like, you know, getting to work with Megan Thee Stallion or like Little Nas. Yeah. So like those little shares, like they know that I'm not just pulling clothes.
That led to working with Little Nas.
Yeah,
like after they
like
saw your
like
work
that,
with Lizzo. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What I love about your social media too is like he'll always post like the look and then like the sketches and the ideas and like the references, and so you like know you get to see exactly like what's going on under the hat.
This one, it's a cone head, so I too am getting
Is
ready.
your head that shape?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay,
That's why I wear this one specifically.
It's actually just open. You can see brain.
No. Happy Halloween. It's
Yeah,
October.
exactly. Almost.
It's kind of got that red hat that the Moai wore,
Oh, yeah.
that vibe. I like it.
Yeah, this brand also I found through social media.
Oh, cool.
Again, if we're talking about connection and currency and being in the space and whatever. I was with June Ambrose on set for a music video with with Lizzo and Missy Elliott, and June is responsible for all Missy's iconic looks, that you think about Missy Elliott, and she was wearing this crazy hat. So moral of the story is she brought me into this guy named Ronnie Patterson. His brand's Essential, makes all his hats by hand, stunning work.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of just been like a snowball. And
I'm bald, so I decorate my hair with head with hair sometimes, or hats, or paint, or whatever.
Anything laying around.
Bang piece.
What?
Bang piece.
Babies. We don't have babies.
Thank you, Marco.
Yeah, of course. I hope that answered the question.
Of course, yeah. Okay, Presley. I'm kind of going out of order, sorry. Okay, so Presley, tell us more about these 22 karat gold scissors that are $1,500?
They're $1,500, yeah.
Japanese made steel. It's basically a samurai sword that she's cutting her hair with. A gold.
Wielding my own Japanese samurai sword.
2 samurai swords together.
2.
That go like
Scissoring. I'm sword fighting right now. 22 karat gold, though.
How did you create the excitement and the esteem around these scissors?
That's a good question.
And you can answer this in parts. How have you converted your how have you converted your professional hair coloring and cutting content and teaching career to make the launch of these scissors successful?
Okay, so how did I come up with the concept? How have I created steam and all the things? Honestly, I don't know about the steam. I'm like, oh, people want them? Cool. I was told in the years that I was being mentored by Michelle Chandler, who is the vice president of Pravana, work until they know your name. Go to them until they come to you. And let them fall for you and see your work secondarily. So I think over the course of my 22-year career, the core of that has always been integrity, right? So I do one thing like I do all things. And at that core, that gains people's trust. I have the difficult conversations. I show the difficult moments. I show when I fail. I build people up around me, right? So for me, everything is connected, right? It's like hair, makeup, styling, barbering. It's all on the same kind of figure eight of it all works together. And so I think in having a foundation as a color correction specialist of 21 years, I was able to show people that I'm willing to do the work, that I will always stand behind the product that's going to do the thing. And I tell people all the time, I'm not going to sell you something or tell you to use something that I don't stand 100% behind. Every single time. And I've just stayed so true to that throughout the entirety of my career. And so 10 years of that has been very documented via social media. And so I think when you just keep guiding people down the path with the light, and they're like, oh, I used it and it worked. And then I used that and it worked. And I went to Presley's class and I did the thing that they said and that fucking worked too. So they got this scissor thing. So I think I'm going to do that. And then the thing is about it is I'm not a value brand. I'm not cheap. And I don't plan on ever being. And listen, I don't care if something costs $20, $10, $15, $1,500. If it works really well, I'll buy it. And that's how I talk to my clients. I'm like, this comb cost me $2 and it's fucking epic. It's going to do all these things for you. Check out the 5 ways I learned how to use it. I got this at the drugstore. But this scissor costs $1,500. Okay. And let me tell you why it's epic. And with that, I was like, you know what? All of my branding has been, it's not necessarily something that you need, but it's something that you want. And at the end of the day, it's like I tell people to show up for themselves. Like, show up for you, choose you, do the hard things, show people the struggle, right? But also, like, when you show up for you, tools matter, right? Your therapist, that's a tool for you, right? Meditation, that's a tool for you. How you dress, how you present yourself, that's a tool for you, right? My actual physical tools that I use in the salon, all of that is connected. So when I created this, I thought, you know what? I want to create something that's luxury, but I want to also give that value. And I was like, my studio is called Gold Studios. And when you think about the word gold, it actually embodies not only physical wealth, but it also emits joy. The color yellow emits joy, warmth, and welcomeness. And I was like, that's how I want my people to feel. So everything is enveloped in that kind of North Star feeling. So when I created the scissor, I was like, I want something that's luxurious. I want to incorporate my previous branding, which is Gold Studios. So I'm going to have the gold experience scissor. I'm going to coat this in like a thick layer of real gold. And then on the packaging, I've actually put in my mission statement. So when you get this, it's not that you just get a scissor in a pretty package. You get a piece of me with you. So when you open it and it's black and gold and it says on the inside, I promise you that there is enough room for all of us. I promise you that doing hair can be easy. And I promise you that you are perfect just as you are. And that comes right after it with a lifetime guarantee. Like, I am going to back my ass up. Okay? Hey.
That's right. Back it up. Back.
And so that's really how it began. And I think I haven't done anything, and I have a full list. We just kind of did a supreme, we're like, you know what, we're going to create a little bit of hype by just simply talking about it. Like, all I do on social media is do what I love and tell people why I love it. That's it. Exactly. I do everything to the best of my ability. I create to the best of my ability. I treat people with the best intention, right? Understanding my impact as well. And then I just try to be completely altruistic. And then when you show people that, they start to trust you. And they're like, I don't even care how much it costs. I'll buy it. Whatever Presley said to buy, I'll buy it, because they don't lie to me. They keep it real. You know, like, they're talking, all these people are talking about, like, I just show exactly who I am. And that's why I think we have to live it inside and out. So when I'm developing a product, and I'm sure you can really relate to this, it is you out there, right? So, like, you really have to embody everything that you're doing, so that when they meet their idol, they really meet the person that they were expecting, and they meet the tool that they were expecting as well.
There's a lot of value in authenticity.
A lot. I think it's underrated in a weird way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with how kind of like social media started, I feel like.
Yeah, which is why I wasn't very good at it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I trust you with my life now.
Got you.
Have you seen these scissors?
No.
They're insane.
So pretty.
They're scary.
I mean,
they're like
I want
pretty.
the fucking scissors.
I know. See?
You need the
You see what
scissors, get the
happens? You
scissors.
talk to people and they're like, I want that. I don't even know what it is.
I am a hoarder of my scissors, like my sewing scissors. Like,
Could I?
and they're
I was a
gold.
seamstress for 9 years.
So you know how
these
So
work
I
as
know
that?
how that goes. I'm like, do not touch those scissors. Those touch cloth only.
Yes,
Very.
Like,
We'll slap it out of your hand.
like, bam.
I'm like, do not cut that ice pop with my sewing.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't
Don't touch those. Those are gold.
Could I use these scissors for fabric?
I mean, if hair is the fabric,
Because I feel like it kind of has to be similar sharpness.
yeah, they would.
Maybe.
But they might dull.
I might-
You know,
I might
hair and
need
fabric
them.
are very similar, though. That's why we call hair fabric. But I mean, you could do it. That doesn't
Try it with
necessarily
your
mean you
hair.
should
Yeah.
do it, but you could
I'll
do
fuck up
it.
my own $1,500 pair.
Well,
I'll
lifetime
trade
guarantee.
you for a bag.
Oh, lifetime guarantee, right?
You shouldn't have said that.
Can I cut paper with them? No, I'm kidding. All right, my next question is for Riley.
Hey again.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Many aspiring digital creators dream of working with brands and monetizing their content. Can you share your experience with brand partnerships and how you're managing to maintain authenticity while collaborating with brands that align with your values? So how do you sell without selling when you're working with brands?
I'm going to kind of piggyback off what Presley said, and just I stand by, like, if I work with a brand, it's because I want to, not because I have to. I collaborate with, like, for my new swimsuit, social media brought us together. They're a brand from the United Kingdom. We met through social media. Me and Mark met through social, like, that's how everybody meets.
And now she's my neighbor, and I can't get rid of her.
Yeah, we have like a little commune now. It's really cute and gay. And so, one more time.
So like, yeah, how do you sell to your followers without selling?
Oh,
how do you be, yeah, like how do you?
So I used to work at the makeup counter, and what I used to talk to people about is like, I'm not gonna sell you something that I don't like or I know isn't gonna work, because you're gonna come back and be like, you stupid bitch. Yeah. Or like, I want you to come back and enjoy the experience, or like just in general the experience of me. You know, everyone wants to be liked and loved, so just I'm myself, and yeah.
Cool.
Let me wait. What was the last part of the question? She's got short term.
That was pretty much it. How do you stay authentic and like not alienate your followers? Like,
well, I don't try to push things on people. Like, it's not like I'm not a good salesperson. Like, if you want it, get it. But like, I'm gonna tell you why I would get it and why I would love it and what it means to me, and why it's important, why it works, why it doesn't. Just like being honest. Yeah, truly, that's like the key of all social media, is just be yourself and be open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my next question is for Steven.
Thank you.
Steven, you are known as the godfather of dad shoes. You invented the dad shoe. That means it goes without saying that you've created a lot of shoe designs in the past. A lot of sketches, a lot of designs. How have you converted all of your extensive shoe content into currency in a way that has led to all these incredible design collaborations, such as Yeezy and Donda?
Oh, interesting. You know, it's kind of funny, when that first article came out and called me the godfather of dad shoes, I was fucking pissed. I'm like, why? Godfather of dad shoes? I'm about technology and runners and, you know, Olympic athletes and record breaking. And, but it was that article that cemented it in Ye's mind to reach out to me.
That article was the currency.
That was it. And I guess just, again, you know, your work. I mean, the hardest thing for me is because of all the NDAs and the secrecy of what we do, I can't share what we actually do.
We're among friends.
With I meant even you know, social media wise, because it's very, you know, it's very secretive, it's very lucrative, and it's my respect for him as co-creator. And so, like I said, you got to tease people. And so, like, if he gets caught with something by paparazzi, I can repost that picture. So it's kind of an interesting situation. But in the past ones, again, you know, if these, I've got you know, it's probably not as large as some of these guys' followers, but they're hardcore, you know, hardcore sneakerheads, and they want to know everything. They want to see everything that I have, and so I'll dig some stuff up from the past if I have it, and then I get the company going like, can we have that back? And I'm like, no. So. Yeah, it's very different kind of thing, because for me and how I use the social media is, I've been an introvert my whole life, and this is that little piece of extrovert that I can kind of hide behind and get people jazzed up about wanting to do this and show them there's a career. Because I was just a fucking goofy kid from southern Massachusetts. My parents didn't know what they were going to do with the kid who drew pictures all day. They thought I was going to work in the grocery store. Not that there's anything wrong with that. To buy my paints and do paintings all day. And, you know, I just happened to end up with this gift to do these sneakers that people love and continue to love, which still blows my mind. I mean, it's crazy to see, like, the New Balance 550 that right now is on fire, and it's given the Air Force One a run for its money. And
I need to see this shoe, please and thank you.
I'll always get it wrong, but I always say it wrong. But anyway, the ADLs are like this high fashion brand adaptation of my old designs through rich materials. And so it's kind of fun to see these things come back. People ask, like, what do you think of these design houses taking your shoes and doing this to it? I'm like, fucking great. You know, it keeps it in people's minds. It gives them a second life. It puts them in colors and materials I never imagined it in. And it's amazing to see how the people interpret your designs. So I think that's, for me, for the social media currency side of it, that's my currency, is what these other people interpret my designs to, because I do a lot of reposting of what these other people have done with my art, which is, you know, that's cool, because, well, it's not the way I would have done it, but fuck yeah, you know, it's cool. And so for me, it means a lot to see them reinterpret my stuff. And I always told people, like, I never sat down to create any iconic product. I did the right thing at the right time, and time has proven that it was the right thing, because here they are with a life of their own. They're in design museums. They're in the Smithsonian. I mean, it's amazing. You know, like I say, just goofy kid. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Cool.
So.
Thank you so much.
I like that you keep talking about like teasing on social media, because that really does keep people engaged. Because if someone's gonna tease me, I want more, mama.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Teasing. That's a currency as well too.
I gotta remember to post.
The art of tease.
All right, so now we're gonna get to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Like my
Basically, we're gonna ask you, why do you create content? We're going to ask all of you guys this. Why do you create content? What do you want to achieve when you are creating content? What types of content and currency do you create? What types of currency are you converting from your content? So what is your currency? Each one of you, what is your main currency? Marco?
I guess currently right now I'm kind of in the design world, like
Creating excitement.
Yeah, creating excitement.
Engaging content. Attention currency.
I'm trying to remember that was a lengthy question.
What's your currency?
Because that was like 7 questions.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
Taylor's
You got the
not it.
email.
I did. I know, but it's still. I mean, I could barely read. So
I'm kidding.
I'm from Arkansas. Remember, you're lucky I've got
I
shoes
was
on.
lost like early on.
You're lucky I have a bang on.
Yeah, well, I would too if I could. I don't know. Let me break this down. What we're talking about.
How do you harness your social media? Like, what's your value? Like, what is your non-monetary? Like, how do you harness your social media to get shit done?
I mean, for me, social media has always been the currency of like the next job. So like that's
inspiring the next job.
Yeah, like that's. Well, even just sometimes getting the next job, because a lot of like connections and like Riley was saying, we met through social media. Like a lot of the jobs come from like stuff that I've already put out, and I think that's like why I continue to post still. Like otherwise, I probably wouldn't use social media, because I too am kind of like shy and like a little bit introverted, but I can play that character online if I need to. But like I'm very kind of like keep to myself, like, you know. Make a joke here and there if I can. Hopefully it lands. I'm not as funny as Riley, but you know, like I use that as a way to like maybe get the next job or something in that line. So I don't know if that's answering your question or not. I'm just now rambling, but
no, that sounds great. Thank you. Riley, why do you create?
I create because it's fucking fun, and I do it for myself, and I hope people enjoy it. It's really fun. It's fun to put yourself out there. It's fun to change, to evolve, to just find different like niche projects or jobs or things that you like. It's always just like there's endless opportunity when you're on the internet. Like
that's too.
Like, would you consider yourself an extrovert?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I gotta look for the fun. I gotta look for like taking notes. I'm like, I know we're all like, is it okay?
I like to have fun. I'll entertain myself in a room, and I just post it on my story.
The character. Yeah, it's. Social media is fun. If it's not fun, you shouldn't be like, don't force it. But if it's something you're really passionate about, you'll find a way to evolve and grow and make it work always. Because at the end of the day, like social media is like a job 24/7. Like it really is. So like you have to make it entertaining for yourself. Like.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your currency is? Looking hot.
Looking hot.
What non-monetary things do you use to get shit done with your and like push your business forward and you can leverage for your business? Looking hot is one of them.
Just I feel like constantly posting gets me brand deals. It gets me gigs. It gets
Like you mean like consistency?
Consistency. Yeah, that's
posting.
like.
Well, I want to fall asleep.
Personally, for me, it's being consistent. That's why I'm always on all the social medias. Just
Content,
ranting
content.
And you're
about
good too at like sharing things as well, like
I love
that are
to share
non-related to
things.
like her brand or like herself, but like things that like she finds funny or like so kind of
It's-
like gives constant insight.
Create
Like
the-
in
create the
between, maybe you
personality.
don't have that thing posted. Every
I
day.
feel like my like little Instagram is like almost like a little like diary.
Visual diary.
Like sometimes I feel like shit, and I'm gonna post a meme and it's real dark, and then the next day
Instagram's
it's gonna be
deleted.
real. Yeah, I'm gonna get deleted. I also get deleted from social media literally all the
Often.
time.
Like probably the most I've ever.
I've been deleted from Instagram maybe 5 times, and I was actually just.
So-
She's back though.
She was. Nobody knows this. Should I?
What?
Nobody knows this, but Riley was actually deleted from Instagram like right before this event.
Yeah,
I was, and it was.
We were
it
like,
was,
what are we gonna
It
do?
was during Pride, so I didn't get to finish a bunch of brand deals, but I still got paid because I finished them somehow when I got her back. But there was like they're just trying to keep a doll down.
But she's back. We
But
got her. We
she's-
got her back. She's good.
You can't
Everything's
kill a
great.
dead bitch.
Hustle is your currency. Actually,
hustle.
Yeah, it's that's what I love to do. I love to work. I guess it's work. That's where I make money. That's what makes me happy. Social media.
yeah.
And there's so many people that we all love and know that live all over the world that we don't have like the opportunity to see. We have to like call them on the phone or write a letter. Not anymore. You can see them like face to face through a little screen. And it's fierce. Or like face to whatever they're showing, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Your assets.
Your assets and the whole.
Presley, what's your currency?
Sorry if there's kids here.
So is the question, what is my currency or why do I create?
We'll
on
start
social
with why do you create? What inspires you? And then tell us what I think I know, but tell us what your currency is.
My currency.
Or tell us first why.
So let's talk about like why I create and what creating does for me. So everything changed for me when I started documenting my work. Everything. So I was always an artist, which we always talk about like what is art? What is art, right? So I heard once that art is to evoke emotion. And I was like, oh, that tracks for me, right? So when I started documenting my work, it changed the way that I worked. Everything became more scientific. I started doing photography to create the illusion of lighting because I worked in situations that had horrific lighting. So I was obsessed with movement in photography, but I couldn't actually photograph hair in movement because I didn't have a $5,000 camera and I didn't know what I was doing, and I had like a little shitty iPhone. So I was like, okay. So I started creating the illusion of movement with color, the illusion of light with color. So I think for me, documenting and creating is how I study myself. It's how I evolve. It's how I learn how to speak publicly. And because I used to say, hey guys, so today we're going to do, every single time I would open the camera. And now
millennial pause.
Welcome back
Hey
to my
guys.
channel.
right? And so now I don't even do that.
My
It's
TikTok,
just
if you go look at it.
I'm a stories. I'm telling a story to someone, so I'm just going to start speaking to you. Not hey guys. Blah, blah. So it's just it was documenting my work is how I study myself. It's how I learn to evolve throughout my career, and I always talk about like the evolution versus the change. Like evolution is long lasting, change doesn't last, right? It's like Band-Aid goes right back. You know, we've all been in those relationships. I'm going to change 3 weeks later. Right. But like it never changes. Right. But we evolve over time, and that's inevitable. So documenting my work helps me not only to study myself, but it helps me to relate to other people. How I document that, I can see what emotion I'm evoking for someone else, and that's going to draw them back into my main form of currency, which is always going to be education, human connection, right? And that goes back into that integrity and that Northern Star. It all goes back to value, education, connection,
knowledge, and
networking.
learning.
Knowledge is power, and evoke emotion while doing it.
Yeah. I would say definitely knowledge is your currency. Knowledge and currency. Knowledge and learning.
Also, I teach. I think this is the biggest thing that was, I didn't even realize that it was going to happen. So something we talk about all the time is like, oh, everything you've been taught, that's a big lie. I learn by teaching every single day. I'll be like, oh, I just learned that with you. Because I'm having to filter my thoughts out loud and speak in a way that you will understand. I changed the way that I just spoke to myself, and I just learned something in that. So I will watch myself create something, and then I'm like, I just learned. Like if I do that, if I tweak that, if I move that, bam, boom, that's a whole ass class, right? And that whole ass class is going to put just money in the bank, right? But it all goes back to, it has to work. It has to work consistently. I have to be able to give that message freely. So it all really just goes back to that same little like principle. Like I always talk about it like it's like a little lock, right? And I always have like these 5 things, and they're just tick, 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 tick. And then I live my life, and sometimes it goes bam, bam, and it'll lock in. And those are those moments of learning through studying myself, through giving to others, through creating and evoking emotion. So, and it all goes back to money in my pocket, because I am validated by watching other people grow. Like you were talking about how watching other people use your ideas was validating, because it's like, oh, I did something worth something. Like this matters to people. That's really freaking cool. It's inspiring to people. So it just all goes back to that. So yeah, I think knowledge is my currency, and documenting what I do gives me more knowledge and funnels it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Steven?
So for me, I mean, I got into this haphazardly and kind of by mistake. So, you know, I do the business side with LinkedIn for your career and career path and advancement. And then Facebook kind of came up. And so I kind of used it to communicate and connect to my high school friends and friends back in my hometown. And I hate fucking Mark Zuckerberg. And so I got tired of him and went to Instagram. I'm like, this is great. This is images. This is more like what I like to share. And then the motherfucker bought it. And I was like, fuck. So then the business started to evolve more. And so I used it more for the business. And then as I met more of the younger kids who kind of wanted to do what I do, which is, I don't know why you want to, but they look to you for that information. So again, I used it for information dispersion to again empower them and help them navigate through this crap and to get to the position that they would like to have. I mean, unfortunately, as you get up to the pyramid, there's only so many jobs up there. I just lucked out. But yeah, I mean, I use it for different purposes. I use it for sharing. I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't monetize anything with my social media. To me, that's the monetization of the currency of sharing and encouraging the next generation to do this and give them the tools and the information for what they want to do. If they, you know, we're all individuals and special, and our path is that individual and special. If you can replicate my path to get to where you want, or use pieces of it to get there, have at it. Here, I'm sharing. This is what I did, right or wrong. Because I mean, I pissed a lot of people off. You know, I'm known as a douchebag and a dick back in Reebok days, but I believed in what I was doing with the product. Yeah. But I need them to hear that too. Yeah. And so that's I tell them, like, yeah, I was a fucking prick, but I believed in the product that I was doing and creating. And that got it out there, and those people that were against me and trying to stop that product, they're forgotten, and I'm held up on this pedestal because I was the creator, and I believed in it, and I want to empower these kids to do the same thing. So that's why I share. To me, that's my currency, is growing these kids.
Like history and creativity.
Yeah.
That makes you sound like a real asshole. You know, really uplifting the next generation makes you really sound like a horrible person, you know?
Well, you know, you got to teach. You got to
Father.
Who would even do such a thing, you know?
You got to teach them in the corporate world. You tell them, go fuck yourself at some
But
point.
I think that's standing up for yourself, and I think that, like, not to go on a huge detour, but that's the thing, is like, you're not going to make everyone happy.
No.
And if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, some people are going to think that you're rude. They're not going to think that you're fun to work with. But I think that that's really a beautiful thing, and that you were willing to share that part of the story and saying, not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah. Get
You know
used
what?
to it.
Get used
Or
to
not
it.
understand like what you're trying to do.
And most people won't, because you're a visionary, you're an artist, and like no one's going to see your vision but you until they do, and then the people that didn't like you will eventually.
That was going to be one of my questions for you, Steven, is like, because being a creative and like having to deal with the corporate side, like that's kind of like with
The worst.
being a stylist, you have to deal with like managers and like people that have like no creativity
Budgets.
whatsoever, and or budgets. So like that was going to be my biggest question for you, is like, how do you deal with people that just constantly don't understand what you're
Or, like,
trying to
stifle the creative process for
Yeah, like
corporate-
how do you deal with that? How
for
have
the
you dealt
business.
with that for so long? Because that's so annoying.
I don't.
Okay.
He tells them to go fuck
I mean,
themselves.
Fuck off, yeah.
I'll clap.
It's so annoying.
You're a daddy now.
There we go.
Yeah.
That part.
I mean, that's the thing, is working with Ye. It's like Adidas tried to put in this hierarchical structure, and he, you know, they drew this chart of like this person here, and Steven fits in here, and Ye erased it all and drew a bubble, and it was Steven and Ye. It was pretty clear,
Yeah.
you know, and it empowered me to tell him, go fuck yourself. You know, I'm not doing what you want. I don't care. I'm doing what he wants, because that's why I'm here. You know, I'm his eyes and hands for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't give a shit.
And there's a reason they have you, not they're not doing it, you are.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
That's why that's
part.
why he handpicked me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's the belief system, it's the not pig-headed, but the belief in doing the right thing no matter what. And that's what it boiled down to, doing the right thing at the end of the
no
day.
matter what.
Right, and I can sleep.
Summer.
I can sleep comfortably every night. You know, there's other designers that I worked with at Nike who, you know, kiss ass and lick balls, and they make, you know, they might have. Sorry if I'm rude,
I'm like-
but it's you're getting the truth. And
Am I the only one on
they
the
may have made more money than me over the years, but are they truly happy, and can they sleep comfortably at night? You know,
Yeah.
Will their product outlive them? Probably not. I mean, my stuff already is. You know, that's what's crazy. I look at this shit, and it's like, it's outliving me. It's bigger than me. You know, and one of those things that was magic for me is Ye makes you believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like, I don't know if I, you know, why don't you design this piece of furniture? Well, you know, I've been doing sneakers and sport. You can do it. I know you can. You know, he believes in you more than you do in yourself. I mean, it's empowering to have somebody like that. So what I've tried to do is, you know, some of that rubs off, and you teach the young kids, like, fuck yeah, you can do that. Why not? What's stopping you, you know?
It's so important to like excite people and inspire people, because a lot of people will like gatekeep so many like industry tips or knowledge or this and that, and it's
all fear.
like it's you. If you are doing well at what you're doing, you shouldn't have to worry about like being in competition with people, because if you're offering yourself, no one can offer yourself.
And that happens like so much, like because I didn't know how to like do a pool or like request a loan from, like, you know, so like, and I would like ask people that had been worked with on set or whatever, and they would gatekeep, and it would be like, why?
It's
like,
so
what is the
rude.
point? Like, I'm already here, so I'm not taking your job away.
Collaborate, yeah.
You know?
You look at anything in any situation like that, and I always put it through a filter. Are you helping or you're hurting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's help. You know, we win
It's so
together,
much
we
easier.
lose together. So let's fucking win.
Like, give me the email, you know? It's that simple.
Totally. Thank you for that. Really quick, before we switch to audience questions, do you guys have any, really quick, do you guys have any like little tips or tricks with social media to convert your content to currency? Do you have any little special tricks, like posting consistently or posting engaging content? Do you guys have any best practices for social media?
If anyone has ever been in my DMs, you know I respond in seconds. So I think just like interacting with like real life people that don't have access to you physically, and
She's vibrating.
Yeah, it's just like going back to inspiring people and gatekeeping. You don't be a shitty person.
Yeah.
And like, people will like that.
Yeah. Awesome.
That was a rainbow from SpongeBob.
Presley, were you going to say something?
So I have just come back from a hair show behind the chair. If you're a hairdresser, you know what that is. And they had a influencer in there who like lives in her van, she travels the world, she's like millions of followers, blah, blah. And she actually gave me a tip and trick. I haven't used this, but I thought, man, these people could use this. She said, because the algorithms are so different, she said, on Instagram and Snapchat and all these other places, she said, so I will create 2 different reels. She was like, and I'll do something just slightly different. She goes, and then I pitch them on TikTok first, because you don't get penalized for posting it on their
Almost
algorithm in certain ways.
Yeah.
She goes, in different audiences will see it. So she was like, I'll use different hashtags and I'll change the music and I'll post something different. She goes, and the one that hits on TikTok, she goes, I use that as like my test pad. Because the one that hits there, I'll switch over and I'll put it on Instagram. She goes, every time. She's like, it'll hit. And I was like, that's a really good, tip and trick. I mean, my personal tip and trick is, again, just be who you are. Let people see who you are. Listen, people are inherently nosy. We want to know what other people are doing. We want to know about their life. We want to know
what you have for breakfast.
Yeah, like who you're hooking up with. You don't have to tell them the whole story, you know, just maybe show the butt cheek walking out the room, you know, but like they want to know that someone was in the room with you, you know.
It builds like a connection to people that you can't touch.
Exactly. So it's like letting them in a little bit on your life, showing them who you are and being consistent with whatever your message is inside and out. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Marco or Steven, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I'm going to piggyback on what they said, because I do think like consistency is key, and that's something that like comes in waves, just like anything that you're interested in. Like sometimes you get bored with it, but like if you can somehow maintain consistency or some sort of rhythm, then that I think is like the most beneficial.
And if you're bored with something, do something else. Like there's no one saying you don't
because like I
do a million things.
If you're having fun doing it, people are going to enjoy it. It's going to be engaging.
Yeah, and I think it comes through different waves, because if I look back to like early Instagrammable posts, like sometimes I would share content that was like more curated, and then like a white background and everything was cut out, and then like you can see like waves of like I had to like make it interesting for me. Right now I'm a little suffering with like social media and the interesting, and photo dumping is kind of like now like the sort of inside slideshow of your life. Like I don't know if that's like how I want to like present this new thing. So in that like sort of lull part of like how I present, and it happens, like you're gonna go through those waves, but if there's a way to like kind of push through that and stay consistent, I think that's like a valuable tip.
For sure.
I mean, and Stephen, for me, again, you know, I use it for different purposes than you guys, but I struggle with, like, I'm putting things out there that I'm interested in. So the sneaker people are like, fuck, more car pictures. The car people are like, God, more sneakers. So it's a hard balance to
make everyone
know who you're showing to, and am I doing it for them? It's 50-50. Some of it's for me. You know, I want to share these things, and it's not necessarily like, look at me eating breakfast. It's like, I'm racing my car. It's kind of fun. You know, you ought to try it sometime. I don't know. You know,
it is a balance. It is definitely a balance, because like sometimes even sharing those like things that like you're passionate about can be kind of scary in itself. You know, it's like, because there are people that go on, or maybe you're looking at your page for the wrong reasons. You know, like watching. Yeah, and so like that kind of that's tricky, and I struggle with that too. Cause
It's
like,
brutal.
Vulnerable
Go on
to be-
trying to clock the lace and shit.
but it is a balance of all this things.
Yeah, I mean, I run into, like, I love music, all genres, lots of rock and roll. I mean, I'm an old straight edge punk, and somebody somewhere is going to be offended by somebody. You know, that's the problem. You know, I like classic rock. You know, I post a picture of Ted Nugent. Oh my God, it's Ted Nugent. He's Steven's some right-wing conservative wacko. And it's like, nah, I like fucking rock and roll. You know, I post pictures of the MC5, because those are people that I have access to and friends. And it's all sides of it. It's like you can't always just pigeonhole somebody like that.
And you can separate art from the artist.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, that's a hard one for me because I lose some followers occasionally over my musical choices, but it's like, I like it all, you know. I mean, look at Ye, conservative Christian in a lot of ways, you know, and I get pushback from that. It's not me, it's who I work with, but then it kind of spills onto you. I support him as my friend because at this point it's beyond the working relationship. He's one of my best friends and will be even if I stop designing with him tomorrow. And I think as a creator in general, I think that's important too, to really connect with people. And I've used Instagram because that's pretty much what I stay on there. No TikToks, no nothing, just Instagram. And I connect with these young kids. They ask me questions to look at their portfolio and stuff, and again, it's that coaching and mentoring. And I always tell people, I'm going to give you all the information that I have in me from my career, because when I'm dead, it's gone. Mm-hmm. So I want to share it before lies are told or things are made up or other people take credit for what I did.
Yeah, it definitely builds credibility too.
Yeah,
I forgot about that part of sharing.
Sorry for my rant.
That's also a currency.
Sorry for the rant.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Thank you so much. Thank you, all four of you, for coming today.
Thank you.
We're going to do some quick audience questions, and then we'd like to welcome you guys to mingle and network. Up in the back, we've got the bar, cotton candy, photo booth. But real quick, do you guys have any questions
I need a picture
for our lovely four panelists? Do we have a... Okay.
Hi.
Hey.
Victoria, or V. As beautiful as it is to be genuine and really want to do your best, the tragic truth is there are people out there who are going to try to essentially take what you're doing or piggyback off of you in a way that might intentionally try to put you in a bad light, hold you back, put you behind. It's kind of like a two-part question of how do you protect your content and currency, both as, there's so many options of watermarks or trademark and things like that. And I know for each of your topics, it's going to be a little bit different, but as well as what would you personally suggest to keep an eye out for to protect yourself in each section of the industry as you try to collaborate when you're wondering, should I be friends and business partners, or is this person that I'm in business with truly trying to meet the same goal as me, or are they trying to simply step on me to get to their next place?
Well, don't move to LA.
That's why I live in
that was like one of the hardest things that I struggled with, like moving from Arkansas to LA, is like the first year.
Rough.
Yeah, I was like the most depressed I've ever was in my life, because I was like genuinely like, oh, everyone is nice and like, wow, this is great. I'm on set here, and like, and I was saying yes to all different types of jobs, whether it's art department jobs or like whatever, But then you find out that some people are trying to fucking step on your neck to like get to the next spot, and I think that's just following intuition. I think as creative people, we all have like a flow of like how we navigate life, and I think that sort of golds, or you said North Star or whatever, like something that guides you. And I think intuition is always like at the root. It may be buried over like other complex parts of life, but like if someone's fucking you over or not, like, or
trust your gut.
You have to just trust your intuition, and like maybe that veers you in different directions over your career path. And like I never thought I was going to be a stylist, but I was like saying yes to the things that felt right in the moment. And I think along the way you just have to figure out like I guess to answer your question is just like you gotta really will know like right away if your intuition's telling you like, oh, this person's like being kind of nasty, then just like block them.
And I think if you're doing something and people like start to do like something similar, either A, it's inspiring for them, or they just want to take it and let them have it because it's not going to be the same. It will never be the same.
What's your Mac sauce? I was just having this conversation with Taylor. What is your Mac sauce? Develop a Mac sauce. What's your secret sauce?
Yeah.
Because I think we all have a secret sauce, and that's something that can't be recreated no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, and if you're like passionate about whatever you're presenting and like that's what you loved in the moment and then you're sharing it, like it's not going to be the same as someone trying to like re-emulate what you fell in love with. You know what I'm saying?
Also, like protecting, like, do you prefer copywriting your stuff to help ensure protection, or are you all more just open to if someone wants to use your art to express themselves? That's cool too.
I feel like for me, it kind of comes on the latter, where it's like, you know, that's how things like no one's like completely original, so everything is shared. Like you know, everything's come before it already. So like there is a part of that you just have to let go. Like, so I'm not like being paranoid and like thinking, oh my God, someone's going to steal this circle cutout design. You know, like it's not right to gatekeep
It's more
those
like
ideas.
self-detrimental to keep thinking like.
Just move on to the next thing. Stay
and don't
curious.
block people, you mute them because then they can still see and you don't have any
Let
clue.
the haters watch. I always do that.
You never want to be confronted at a nightclub when someone's like, you blocked me, and then you're like,
haters.
Yeah, I know.
well, there's a reason, and so
Why
now I'm
did
leaving
I?
the combo. You know, like.
That's my favorite. It was like, why did you unfollow me? Why do you think?
You tell
What did
me.
you do? No.
I just have like something quick to add to this. Like, listen, so I think about this all the time because you would not believe how often I get attacked by people thinking that I'm trying to do something that they're doing, or I'm like, I'm sorry, who are you?
That's
I
my
literally
heart.
do not know you.
That's how
the
I hold
names that
scissors.
I've been
Paranoia.
called, just people try to drive. I've had a stalker for 4 years who has literally tried to make it his life's mission to tell the world that I'm a fraud. And I'm like, what? Like, I fucking cut hair, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
more reflection of him.
but here's my thought process on this, because I think so many people get caught up like right where you're at. Michelle Chandler was, you know, we talked about her earlier in my behalf, and she said the thing to me, she's just, Presley, you're going to put this out there and people are going to take it from you. Watermark your stuff. I said, absolutely fucking not. I'm not watermarking my work. I do not want to be the person that you expect something from. I want to be the person that you did not expect it from, right? I don't want you to see me like, oh, that's a Presley post. No. I want you to be like, oh my God, Presley posted that? Exactly, because I'm always evolving, okay? But here's my theory on this. I believe that intellectual property does not exist on the internet. I'm going to say that again. Intellectual property does not exist on the internet. That is called gatekeeping. You put it out there, it is not yours. Okay? It's just not. So if you're educating and you're doing something like you're doing makeup, or you're doing, you know, you want to teach how to give the best blowjob on OnlyFans or whatever, and you got your whole thing, and you don't want to put your intellectual property out, you're like, nah, girl, like, let me tell you, you bring those people into your circle, 3 letters, NDA, and then you sign it, and then you give them all the things that you don't want to share on the internet because you put it out there, it's not yours.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go out there and you put it out and then you're like, they took from me. No, you gave it to them.
I know. That's what I tell all these kids.
Gave
They'll
them the
send me their
formula.
portfolios like, yo, I got the chops to be the next head Yeezy designer. And I'm like,
Okay.
obviously you don't, because you just shared all this shit with no protection, you know? And I always tell them, like, do not post this. You have no protection after like that. And I've had so many kids come like, you stole my design. And I whip something up from 1987. And I'm like, look, there it is, you know.
So you stole my design, right? But like, if you want something protected, then you bring it into your personal circle and you protect it. You can only really like copyright, or you know, you can have copyright infringement. What's the other thing you can do? Patent something, trademark. Those things are on paper. You get it written out, you can do it. But your ideas and whatever you're sharing, you're giving. You can't keep that once you've given it away. So all these like weird little fights that people have on the internet, I'm like, y'all are so silly. Like wild. you gave it freely and then you mad because they took it. I don't get it. But all these people up here saying, I give everything and all I expect in return is the validation of your growth. Right.
I mean, and like my Instagram page, it says it right there. Positive vibes only. So if you put any negative shit on there, you're blocked and deleted immediately because it's my page.
Yeah.
So
True.
Like me or not, that's what you get.
Thank you. Was there another question up here? Oh, sorry.
Hi, everybody. Great talk. I had a question regarding like audience fatigue. Kind of one of the current models with regarding these social medias is just post, right? You got to get yourself out there, get into algorithm. But I have this feeling like if you're constantly posting, then you're devaluing the content, right? Rather than having 1,000 posts of something, if you have one or two, that kind of creates more anticipation and engagement on the individual ones that you do post. Kind of wondering if you could talk about that, what your personal view is on posting and getting yourself out there, especially in dealing with like audience fatigue.
I think what you said is very true, but also like just because you have 1,000 posts doesn't mean they all aren't fucking fierce. You know, if you're gonna post that much all the time, there's an expectation of it not be like garbage, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all about balance. I mean, like for me, like I said, I've been struggling with like keeping up with like grid posts, but like I still post on my stories and like I live like I use that as a way to kind of like vomit content that like, you know, just happens in the moment.
Like
but
passive content.
Yeah, it's like because passive content is a great sort of word, but I think it's all about balance. Like, you know, I'm not going to be the one that's posting every day. Like that's just not my style. But for others, it may work. Like, I don't know. It depends on like how the feedback is.
I think it like as to what they're saying. Like, I think it depends on the value of your content. If you're posting 1,000 times a day and it's fire, and then screw it, do it. You know, I mean, if you're just getting started, like exposure is really important.
Digital footprint.
Yeah, get a digital footprint, and it's like then when you have that, someone told me that they're like, Presley, I googled you, and then I googled what people Google about you, and just like it was like 2 pages long.
Exactly.
Like, is Presley a man? Right? And I'm like, partly. Does Presley have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? I'm like, we don't know today. Right? It's like the strangest things. Like, what is Presley? Right? And it's like I was like, this is so neat, but I'm like, I had no idea, right? But that's a digital footprint. And it's like, get people, you give them the taste test, right? And then they're just like, but what are this? And then they look you up and to have enough information there. So I think, you know, pump it out, do your thing, and then once you get your traction, then focus on the ones that hit. Actually, I think it's like a research thing. Keep pumping it out, pump it out, and what hits, you'll see the things, and you'll be like, you start to get a feel for it and go, I got a banger, right? I'm like, this one's gonna go up. Those 3 probably won't work. Put it on TikTok, see if it works. Put it on Instagram, it might hit, right?
TikTok is a great like zone to just experiment with, because like it really can just flow, and like sometimes things will get picked up, but it is a great reader of like how
just
things will be consumed.
Yeah.
I find it interesting where I'll do one post that is zeroed in on one person, and then it's fascinating to see what other people gravitated to that, even though it wasn't truly meant for them. It's kind of fun. I go back and look like, oh, who else like that? And then I go, I wonder why they like it, because it wasn't for them. And the other thing, I feel bad for all of you people, because I did some fucking stupid shit when I was your age, and it's not documented anywhere, thank God.
Oh, you know what? I actually heard a term about what you're saying, and I'm trying to remember the guy. Sarah, I think you were there. I got it tattooed on me, uncommonly disciplined. Do we remember his name? And he said, for those of you who feel that you do not want to repeat the same thing over and over, and I was struggling with this, right? Because you feel like it devalues. He said, I have a question for you. If you water a flower every day, does it not grow? And that was the moment. So it's like, if you think that you're devaluing by pumping your work out there, just remember, like, if you're doing something consistently and you're always trying to level yourself up, you're still going to grow. And then you're going to get your gallery to understand Tim Swarmy, something like that. If you water a flower every day, does it not grow? Pump out whatever you've got until you realize what works for you. You're not devaluing yourself as long as you're focusing on giving value always.
Yeah, give value.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, another right here in the pink.
Yes, Booth.
She's been waiting.
Look at this walk, though.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I had a question because a lot of times on social media, you kind of just like never know what's going to pop off. So I had a question about like, is there an instance on social media where like you knew you had gold in the palm of your hand and it ended up being gold? Because I never know like what's going to hit.
Yeah. Okay. So when the pandemic happened, everyone was stuck at home and we were all like locked away together, like had nothing to do. So we started going on Twitch every single day, and we have like a really big group of friends that all live together. So every day one of us would do makeup, one of us would do hair, one of us would show like old like vintage magazines, just like whatever that person liked.
What is Twitch?
Twitch,
Is it
it's like
a gaming
it's a gaming, but you can go on and just like it's
Live
just a way to
stream.
like
we use it like kind of like public access TV.
Facebook
Like,
Live.
We called it Avalon TV, and we would like create our own shows and content like to keep ourselves not from.
And so through doing that, we were
During COVID.
consistent and kept doing it. And then we got like a little documentary made about Mark, and that led to us having our own TV show, which comes out October. It's called Avalon TV.
We just saw the first cut of it in the first episode. And it was
But just because we were bored and doing stuff that we loved, something greater came from it, and we
That
knew
became currency.
we knew we were having a good time, and we were like, this is great. Someone's got to see it one day.
And I think it all goes back to like if you're really in love with it. I mean, I think that's contagious. So like I mentioned earlier about the tiny bag. Like I love little tiny
love
objects. Like my mom collected them as I was growing up. I discovered this like little Valentino toy art piece that was like not even a part of the brand that they didn't even know existed, and that started the whole thing. And that sort of love language, then I knew it was going to be fun, whether people got it or not. But I had the feeling, I had that intuitional bug.
How small was it? Like
it was like this. It could fit like
like the Lizzo bag was that big.
It was teeny tiny.
It could fit what?
But it was an artist. I didn't. Now I'm like on the spot. Can't remember his name. But I found him through Instagram, and then I reached out to him, and then
Plants.
yeah, something obvious plants.
He's real funny.
His artwork is so cool, but he does like faux toys and like
It's
will
goofy.
place them in like actual stores, and he made the little tiny Valentino place, and that's how I got connected with the Valentino Gym, because again, I didn't even know how to like reach out to big designers at the time. You know, like I was struggling to get a designer to make something in plus size. You know,
Yeah.
Don't
It's
be
a lot
afraid to
easier.
ask
so cool.
people for help.
Yeah.
You know, because the worst they can say is no, and if
and it was like
open
pure
mouths don't
Apollo
get
like
fed.
loved the idea,
Or
and
no.
like you know, it was just.
Do they? Closed mouths don't get fed. That's right.
So
But yeah,
sometimes I think you have to love it. Like it's all goes back to intuition for me.
It never works for me. I'll be like, this is the banger. I got it. This is the shit. I'm going to put it out there. Everyone's going to know my name. Ah! Then I'm like, that did nothing. Because at the end of the day, I just feel like, you know what? I've just released expectation of everything. Everyone, like, listen, I don't know your name. I don't know how you identify. I'm going to show up. You tell me how to love you. Great. I have to think less. I'm not interested. So chase down what you love. Pump it out there, and people will either love it or not love it. But also remember that everything has its day. Right? So it's like, how long ago could you have worn that magic outfit, which I think is gold, and walked down the street so proudly and felt safe? Right? There's a time, right? Everything has its moment. So even if you share something and you're like, I had a banger, like I know that was it, and it just bunked, right? Remember that no one sees your reality or has your vision that you do, and it also just might not be the moment, and the algorithm might have been a little bit off. So if you really believe in that and you chase down what you love and you want to tell other people how you love it and you really want that exposure, try it on different platforms, and try it on different platforms on different days. Save it and reshare it, right? If you have been posting consistently 1,000 posts, right, and then you're like, you know what, I can look back at the data of that and see that I get the highest hits on Sunday at this time, take your banger that may not have worked on Saturday, and you put it at that time, and you might have a viral freaking post. Don't be afraid to reuse your content or to reshare something that you're really passionate about, but also don't release something with the expectation that anyone will see it the way that you do, or see the work that went into it, because they simply won't.
I would say something I recently found out is like a lot of people who have super viral content, they repost that same video every week. If you have something that gets a million freaking views, they literally repost it every single week, and it continually gets 1 million views every week. Just because you post a piece of content doesn't mean that everyone has seen it. Keep reposting the same content. That's one mistake I made as a designer. I thought, oh, you've already seen that. You don't want to see it again. And
You're always
really,
getting a new
the truth is,
audience.
I really needed to hear that.
Everything's might be old to you. It's brand new and genius to them.
And also just don't post like in the middle of the night thinking it's going to be a banger.
You can go.
Don't post at 3 a.m. and be like, why is no one looking at this?
Why did no one see this?
They're all at the club.
Okay, but I needed to hear that because I should probably reshare some stuff.
Yeah.
See, you teach, you learn, right? It's like, oh yeah, I need to do that myself because I'm with you over there. I'm like in the lull. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to post. I can just repost something else. Right. I'll just post my big hitters.
Exactly.
That'll work.
Yeah, just have it in your camera roll. All right, I think we have time for one more question. Go ahead. One sec.
Oh my God, is that Britney Spears?
Taylor. Yes. No, it's Pamela Anderson.
Like, oh, she bounces.
Hi. Hey. With new emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and natural language learning like ChatGPT, a lot of creators are encouraged to utilize those tools to create content and push it out consistently. Do you think that artificial intelligence stifles the creativity process, or do you embrace it?
Well, I'll talk about it. I think it's like when your dog eats its meal and then goes out and chews up some grass in the yard and then pukes it out. That's what it is. Because for what we've done, it's all here. You need this. You know, I see the sneaker ones these kids have generated with AI, and it's visual barf. There's not an essence, a humanity, and a purity to it, and I think that's missing. And I think whatever content you generate with it, you know, other people are like, well, you know, I got it to do this novel for me. I'm like, well, that's great for you, you know. For me, as a designer and true art, it's literally just picking bits and pieces of previous stuff. Anybody can do that, you know. It's potato heading, just at a sophisticated level. Whereas I'm like, you know, bring it on. You know, I'm Mike Mulligan and the steam shovel. I can beat the fucking machine any day. Bring it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else? Oh yeah, go ahead.
I feel like in a world full of Kardashians, be a Sarah Connor. I mean, you know, like, it can be a tool, but I think all of us are artists, and I feel like it kind of takes the art out of art. It does. And it's interesting, like, being an educator, and I'm like writing out these PowerPoints, and I'm like, I could fucking AI this, I'm sure. You know, it's just like, what is going to be left of us when we're just a machine? But again, like, show people who you are, because that's the one thing that a machine can't be. It's the one thing that no one else can be, is who you are. And if you take out your voice, how is anyone going to know who you are? How are they going to fall for you? How are they going to trust you, connect with you? I think the AI, it's going to have its place. And I think finding that of like, listen, if I got to write a paragraph for a magazine or something, I'm like, yay. And then put a little bit of me in there and be like, cool. But, you know, when it comes to captions or education, like, I want that raw. I want that value to say, this is not something AI is going to pump out for you. This is something like toiled and, you know, worked really hard for you to bring you the simplified information. You know, even maybe taking AI and saying, okay, you know what, let's see what AI has to say about this, and then like what I said, and see if you can get the same value out of it. I don't know, but I feel like it takes the art out of art. It takes the emotion out of things, and it kind of makes us infantile. I'm not really a huge fan, but I'm really inside. I'm his age, so there's that. Dad was mad about the AI. Other dad's mad about AI. How's mom feel?
Yeah, how do you use AI?
How do I use it? Oh God,
Do you use it?
don't
Do
know
you
how to.
love it? Do you hate it?
I
don't know how to use
it. I don't really have an opinion. I think it has a time and a place for sure. Should it be used to curate like your whole like presentation of yourself on social media? I don't think so, because that's a
Fake.
computer.
Yeah.
That's not any reflection of who you are.
But use it as a
would you
tool
look
smartly.
Yeah, use it when it's like appropriate, and if
And make sure you're.
It's like it's
I
technology.
think it's good
There's
if
always
you
gonna
like
be
see
more.
what it has to say, and then you kind of cherry pick like the human stuff
Yeah.
out of it, make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just like the internet. It can be a double-edged sword. It can
Totally.
be beneficial or negative, you know. But I mean,
however you use it.
because there are sometimes like they do put together interesting compositions or like, you know, imagery visually, but at the same time they're just using what you have the power to do, which is like take and gather what you like, and like then recontextualize it through your filter. And I think that's, to go back on everyone's point, that's kind of what is missing out of that. There's this more formula, like cold to say, and formulaic, which, you know, you can use those formulas in a way, but you have to be the one doing it.
I think it goes back to earlier. Do the thing that no one's willing to do. The work.
Yeah, the work.
Do the work. Show up. Show
It takes-
you.
yeah. It takes time to cultivate your aesthetic. It takes time to cultivate the things that you're interested in. When there's so much going on, there's so much chaos, there's so much filtering, and all the times it's hard to be like, oh, well, I like this thing for whatever reason you like it. But it's hard to filter through those things. But once you got it, you got your little Lego pieces to build whatever.
Totally.
For sure.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank these 4 fabulous panelists for coming today and teaching us all about content and why content is currency. I'd love for all of you guys to go home and kind of think about, like, what is your currency? How do you use social
That's
media?
a hard question, girls.
Exactly.
It's a hard question.
What non-monetary things are you leveraging from your social media? And also, like, what other non-monetary things could you be leveraging from your social media to grow your business, to grow your brand, to sell your products smartly? But yeah, anyway, think about what is your currency, and is content your currency? With that, I'd like to thank you guys for coming, and I welcome you to our after party. If you guys have any more questions, please, the panelists will be mingling upstairs, so feel free to chat and mingle. We'll also have the photo booth running, so please get your photos taken. Traveling Career Girl is here, and she's displaying some of her bags that will be launching October 5, 6, and 7. So please make sure also that you guys get your tickets to the show in October. It's the first week of October. Me and Taylor will be launching our new bag line together.
It's fierce, y'all. It's fierce.
So good.
Yes,
So
it's
good.
really pretty, and it's modular. It has a lot of things that
It's
it
like
does.
the transformer of luggage.
It's a luggage brand that transforms. So we're gonna do a cute little like infomercial to kind of explain like how it all works and stuff that we'll launch on YouTube. But anyway, please come to FashionNXT October 5, 6, and 7. If you haven't got your tickets already, go to fashionnext.com/tickets, same site that you guys got your brunch tickets at. But with that, please, I welcome you guys. Please party, have fun.
Oh, yeah.
We have some lovely pink cocktails, so please enjoy. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
want a pink cocktail.
Right.